aceasta. Dar oare ce l-a determinat pe Moody să cerceteze moartea clinică? Pe când era student la Universitatea din Virginia, unul din profesorii lui i-a povestit despre un psihiatru care avusese parte de o experiență neobișnuită, moartea aparentă. Lucrul acesta avea să-i schimbe radical viața.
1 decembrie 1943, soldatul George Richie era încartiruit în Texas, la Camp Barclay. Tocmai fusese ales să meargă la colegiul medical din Virginia și aștepta să fie trimis la Richmond pentru a începe cursurile. Cu o săptămână înainte să plece, i s-a făcut un control medical. În ajunul plecării, s-a simțit tot mai rău, deși încerca din răsputeri să pară că se simte bine. Trebuia să plece cu ultimul tren din Camp Barclay în acea săptămână. Pierderea trenului putea însemna pierderea șansei de a urma acele cursuri medicale. Toată noaptea aceea Richie a avut febră mare. Știa că starea lui era gravă. Febra era îngrijorătoare. Avea deja cunoștințe de medicină și chirurgie. Așa că a înlemnit când a văzut că avea 41 de grade Celsius. Medicii au venit să-l ia cu ambulanța pentru a-i face un nou control. Richie a leșinat și starea lui s-a înrăutățit în următoarele 24 de ore. În cele din urmă a fost declarat mort, diagnosticul fiind dublă pneumonie. Apoi s-a ordonat să fie pregătit și dus la morgă. Din acel moment, Richie ne povestește ce i s-a întâmplat din clipa când a fost declarat mort.
From a subjective point of view, I'll have to tell you what I was experiencing. I knew I had missed my train. So I'm looking all around this rather dark room trying to find my uniform. Couldn't find it and decided that I didn't have any more time to waste there, so I come on out of this little room into the hall, and I'm crossing, getting ready to go outside when I see this ward boy coming down. I turned around to him to tell him to watch where he was going, and either he walked through me or I through him. Now this kind of shocked me, but when I had made up my mind I was going to get to Richmond, I was going to get to Richmond, so this didn't shock me. I go on out to the door, going to the outside. As soon as I got outside of that door, I'm suddenly up into the air, varying between 500 feet to 500 yards above the ground, going at an incredible speed. And finally I come to this large river. I see this city on the other side. I let down just in front of this white all-night cafe because I saw this civilian getting ready to go into the cafe, because I want to ask him if I'm heading in the right direction to get to Richmond.
What city is this? Excuse me, sir. If you could just tell me what city this is, I'd really appreciate it. I was on my way to Richmond, and I seem to have gotten lost. Please.
This was the second time that another human being acted like they could neither hear nor see me. So I went over to lean against the guy wire of a telephone post, and my hand goes through the guy wire of the telephone post. Then it suddenly hit me that I had left something back there in that bed in Barclay, and I knew, because I was still using massive denial, that I'd better go back and get it. Now, I made the next, or the first most important discovery about being outside of your body, that you really go where your soul sincere desires. That time and space as you and I comprehended in this level doesn't exist, because in no time at all, I was right back there in the front of the hospital. But I had made a very tragic mistake. I hadn't looked to see which ward I'd come out of, much less which room. I could see the soldiers lying there in the bed. And we take for granted we know what we look like, but we don't, because you see, we really have never seen ourselves from here up, except in the two-dimensional object we know as a mirror. And I saw a lot of soldiers that looked like me, but none of them had my fraternity ring on the finger. And I'm going through from ward to ward, room to room, trying to find me, and becoming more desperate. Finally went into this little isolation room, and lying over the bed with a sheet pulled up over its head was this body. I realized it was me because I recognized my fraternity ring, and it even had a chip on the black onyx because it was a Phi Gamma fraternity ring, and there wasn't any mistaking. And I am utterly petrified. My massive denial has broken down. I suddenly realize that that body is dead. And I'm too young to die. I'm only 20 years of age. And then all of a sudden I thought the light at the head end of the room was getting brighter, but it was growing in an intensity of light to where if you turned on 1,000,000 welders' lights, you'd have some idea of the intensity. Three things happened at the exact same moment. Something deep inside of my spiritual being, not the corpse lying over in the bed, said, stand up, you're in the presence of the Son of God. At that exact same instant, out of this brilliant light stepped the most amazing being I have ever met. And those hospital walls virtually disappeared. I saw every single minute detail of my life, everything I had ever done in public, in private, from seeing my own cesarean section birth to my 20th year when I was pronounced dead. And he threw a question, what had I done with my life? And I thought, well, I'm an Eagle Scout. Immediately he shot back, that glorified you. And the same question again, what have you done with your life? Now over there in that realm, there is no such thing as hypocrisy, because one of the first things that you become aware of is that the other being is totally aware of what you think, so you can't think one thing and say another. There's no such thing as misunderstanding what he meant. And yet, here was a being that knew everything about me, and he totally accepted me and he totally loved me. Now that blew my mind. The next thing that took place was that Christ motioned for me to come over close to him. Now you can well imagine by this time I really do think that I've seen everything, but I'm finding out this is just the beginning, because suddenly he's opening up another realm to me. Now I wanted to stay there, but then I suddenly realized that the Christ was pulling me away and that we were heading back into this isolated room in Camp Barclay Station Hospital outside of Abilene, Texas.
Moartea soldatului George Richie a fost confirmată de doctorul Donald G. Francy, capitan pe vremea aceea. Cartea doctorului George Richie, Viața mea după moarte, conține descrieri detaliate ale diferitelor etape ale vieții de dincolo pe care el pretinde că le-a traversat. Este o carte amănunțită despre un om care a avut de-a face cu moartea și despre ce crede el că există dincolo.